So I knew my turret was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. So today I'm going to tackle what I hope is the last bit of welding on the cab, and it's going to probably be the most difficult, and that is the turret. So going to first diagnose where the leaks are coming from, because they're notorious for leaking, and then I'm going to get the grinder out and start cutting away at it. So let's get into it. Up on the roof, this is the area that's really badly corroded, but I'm not going to start with that. What I'm going to start with is taking out these cushions or head protectors, whatever you want to call them, to get a better look around the perimeter of the turret. So I knew my turret was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. It's obviously water been getting behind the cushion for a very long time. There's not much left of that in a lot of places. It's spotted to go around here as well. Come on, focus. So all this edge. So I think the whole turret section is going to need to be cut out and replaced. So I've been chipping away, grinding a few things back, and I've got down to the root cause of why all these turrets seem to leak, and it really is just down to how the original panel layout was constructed. So you can see it's actually made up of 3 layers, which you would expect. You have your inner skin, which comes in from underneath with a 90 degrees downward flange, and then you have your upper roof skin, which comes across and then goes up with a 90 degree return flange, and then the turret is then placed in and then spot welded to these 2 flanges. Now the upper flange doesn't go all the way to the top of the sealing ring, and actually when you go around you can see this is some remnants of the hard dried seam sealer they originally used. The seam sealer is just all cracked and gone all the way around this seam, so water comes in, splashes, seeps down behind the panel and rusts through. And you can see this is what's left of my turret outer skin. So what I'll probably do is go around all of these spot welds, or I might even just cut it all out and and build it all where I don't have to rely on these two seams, so I don't have to worry about water getting in again. Obviously other leak areas are the fact that it's just got riv nuts effectively into the upper side, so water can get in behind them and leak through. But I think the majority, well, I know the majority of the leak on mine has been rusting through this seam here. You can almost see it happening here. It goes up about, leaves about 10 mil from the top. You can see above is actually not too bad, but all along that edge where the water has been building up and splashing up and seeping down is where it's rotted through. So if you haven't got a rotten one of these, what I'd suggest doing is going all around the inside with a wire wheel on a drill, getting rid of all this old crappy cracked sealer and putting a good high quality sealant all on this underside, and it should stop most of your issues. You can also see around the fixings which have a similar feature that there's been water seepage here, and it's also lower down, so a lot easier for water leak in. So a lot of people might think it's, well, these probably will still leak, although there's no evidence of water on mine. You'd see trace marks if water was getting in here, sort of like this, maybe at the base, but I'd bet that most of the issues people see are related to this seam being right at the base here, and water will just be tracking around the damaged sealant and into this gap here. So after making my life hell for an hour, I've got all of the turret flange out, other than these little bits here which I'm just going to grind off with a grinder. This job wouldn't have took too long usually, but all of my spot weld drill bits are on the missing list, so I had to do it with some normal drill bits which blunted straight away, and then onto a grinder with a flap wheel just to grind through them. But we're there now, and as you can see what lies beneath the upper surface, this is where the latch would have been. This is actually as so. Doesn't look too bad from the metal off where I've flashed it back so I could see the spot welds, but when you flip it over you can see it's been slowly corroding away from the inside out due to water getting in between the seams that have failed along this edge, and it rusts down behind. This isn't as far along as here, but the exact same thing happened here and here. So fortunately I'll probably be able to treat that flange, but I'm probably going to cut most of this out anyways and put in a new ring completely all the way around. All of the turret has been cut back now. There was no saving the back radius there, so it's just been trimmed around. I've cleaned all these back, but the reality is I'm probably going to cut it back much like the rear section there, which then leaves me with two options. I could just stick a nice plate over the top of it, but where'd be the fun in that? Or rebuild the whole turret again. So the plan is to get some rings laser cut that represent the old ceiling flanges there. I'll get it done out of probably 3mm plate. I'll then roll a centre section, weld that to the new flange, and then weld it to the roof skin. So I remove all of the seams, and the only leak path will be where I've welded. So if I do a good job welding it and sealing it, I shouldn't have any issues, and I will still maintain a turret. It's been about a week since I was last at the unit, mainly because I was waiting on getting the rings cut for the turret. So I've had these cut out of 3mm steel. I didn't fancy trying to do this larger diameter with a grinder and making it both, well, getting it in alignment so it was nice and concentric. You'll notice that there's two rings. There's a smaller diameter and a larger diameter. The reason behind this is the smaller diameter ring is going to be welded to the underside of the roof. Nested in, I'm going to weld the full circumference of the ring. I'll then make a band out of this sheet steel that goes on the internal diameter, comes up proud of the roof. That again will be welded around the full circumference. And then finally, I'll have the top ring welded on, something a bit like this. That'll remove any overlapping seams. It'll all be fully welded and won't leak again. Once it's all welded together, I'll go around and just drill the holes for the mounts on the car and for the head cushions. So let's jump into it. I've got the bands cut and I've just placed it in and roughly tacked it in place on the side that's going to be on the inside of the cab. I I should have ground it off, would have made my life easier, but I'll grind it off once I tidy it all up. You can see it's just loosely placed inside the upper ceiling ring. Just place this over. Something like so. And the turret cap will seal over the top of that. In fact, I might just so with the cap, it'll sit over like so. Just to back my way a bit. So, next part is to clean off all the paint, which I should have done beforehand, and then tack it into place on the roof of the truck. Welded in now. What a mammoth task that was. I think it's just shy of 2 meters each circumference, so 6 meters of welding. So this just needs dressed off now. Not the prettiest, but I was going for speed. I've just got this little gap to fill. I was always going to get this as a metal heated and expanded. It's why I never welded them when I tacked it all together, because I knew that would happen. So that's a bit wide for me to fill with weld, so I'll probably just put a plate behind and weld up. So yeah, I'm going to just give this a little bit of a finish down, but I'm not going to take it down flush. I'm going to leave it slightly proud. I've welded on the top surface, and what that'll do, it'll act as a bit of a step seal with the foam to stop any leaks coming between the foam and the metal. But yeah, that's it. I'll get a few better shots and finish off with the grinding. Pretty much the turret done. I've got to go back in and do the sealer work, but I'll do that at a later date. I need to weld on some studs on the internal diameter. I'm not going with nuts or rivnuts like the original design. Just keep it studs on the inside, push the cushions up, and there's no chance of getting a leak path that way. And that's it. It's a bit late, this video. Real life got in the way, so I'm back on track now. So another video should be following this one in fairly quick succession, because I have been working on it in the background. It's actually starting on the wheel arch repairs of the truck. I'll probably not do the full video on just the arch repairs. I'm either going to look at the axles or the rear bed. Let me know what you think in the comment. Which part of the truck shall I move on to next? What would you like to see? And maybe I can look at starting that. As ever, thanks for watching. I'm overwhelmed by the support. I'm really glad that people are enjoying the videos. It's making me feel like they're worth doing. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. It's all very much appreciated, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks.